Alright guys, this is Anything with Wheels, and this is my review of my own Mazdaspeed 3. It's a 2009 first generation Mazdaspeed 3, last year of that generation. It's got, depending on who you ask, like 260, 270 horsepower, about the same torque. Front wheel drive, 2.3 liter turbocharged, DISI MVR engine. The main draw to this car is, or like the main thing I like it now that I've gotten it, is just the pull. The stock acceleration is amazing for the price point of the car, and like obviously you could have gotten a Mustang or something, but just in general the combination of like sporty hot hatch, and I guess in modern standards it's not quite as powerful as like the new hot hatches. Like it won't compete with an STI or a Focus RS or a Golf R or anything like that, but it is front wheel drive, so I guess it's in a slightly different market. But yeah, it's just the pull from it is amazing, especially to someone who's like a new driver. And that brings me to the handling. The handling compared to like a regular economy car, the handling is amazing. It'll like corner really flat. There's limited body roll. There's like unless you're way over the speed you should be going through a corner, you're not going to understeer in this kind of car. But that is like, once you get to the limit, it will start to understeer. But personally, the limit is way beyond my personal driving limit, so I'm not worried about that right now. And the throttle response is amazing. It downshifts well. The braking, the stock braking is really good. It has does it have 4-piston fronts? I think it has 4-piston fronts.
I'm not sure. They're pretty big.
Yeah, it has big front brakes, which they're great when you're just driving normally. They have some play at the top end where you can push them and the car will slow down, but it won't lurch and like jerk to a stop. You have that like top, the squishy brake pedal at the top, and then it gets harder as you're more progressive with it, which is my ideal kind of brake pedal for like daily driving. And then the clutch is one of the, in my opinion, is one of the downsides of this car. It has a very weird clutch. There's a very finite engagement point, and it has a very springy feel to it. So it makes the clutch heavy to push in, and it's a pain in traffic a little bit, but other than that, the clutch works well, but in my opinion, it doesn't feel the way it should. Like, holy shit, that guy, do you see the sparks coming off the guy's?
Yeah. No, he good.
Clutch, not my favorite clutch. In like, Honda clutches are way better. They're nice and smooth.
Should have gone Honda, bro.
True. I drove a Honda yesterday. I have barely any experience with manual transmission vehicles, and I'd install it once, so I don't know if that's just what Honda does well or what other manufacturers need to improve on. I swear I'm not a fanboy.
Interior's a little rattly, as you can see, but that was an example of that good braking I was talking about, and the power. Yeah, like I was saying, the interior is a little rattly, which is like sort of what you'd expect when you have like the performance version of an economy car, and a lot of the interior sort of echoes that. Like, it's all like cheap plastic, as I know Alex hates.
I mean, you kind of expect it. I wouldn't say it's bad. It's not a bad interior. It's definitely kind of focused on the driver.
Yeah.
Like the steering wheel and the shifter and the pedals, the seat especially. Like you can tell where Mazda really put their money into. You know, it's not really about being a comfortable car or like being you know, having all the features that, you know, it's not about like having Bluetooth and like 30 speakers and, you know, leather on the roof and whatever.
Yeah, it's true of all, like I said, economy cars turned sports cars. Like
it's a budget
the WRX.
sports car.
Yeah, the WRX. The interior is shit. Like, or it's not shit. It's just cheap, and the interior here is cheap. I'm sure the interior in like most cars in this segment is gonna be cheap.
Yeah, well, the thing with budget sports cars is they're not really they're not meant for that.
Yeah, yeah.
If you
I don't
want
expect
everything,
I don't
you
expect
go
Alcantara
upscale.
leather and like, I don't know, like auto blipping downshifts and like stuff like that. Like it is what it is, and it's not about the interior really. Like Alex was saying, shifter's good, steering wheel's good, seats are good. That's all the things I'm touching right now as I'm driving, and the pedals are great. And other than that, like that's all I have to touch when I'm driving. So I don't really care about anything else.
And only in recent years did like economy cars start focusing on more luxury materials that they're using. And so like back in 2009, it just wasn't their priority, and most people didn't look for that when they were shopping for a car.
Well, I think like you were saying earlier with the how this car is performance for the price point, like that's why you bought it. I think if this car was, you know, nicer inside, it would be more expensive, and then it would be just in a different price point. This car is just trying to be as fast as possible. Like when it was new for 20 something grand, it's only been like 8 years.
That's another downside. Although my suspension, I think the end link bushings are worn, so I need to replace those. But the ride quality as like a daily driver is not the best. Like, again, don't expect like BMW like air suspension, like perfect ride, but like it is, you feel every bump you go over. I swerve to avoid like big potholes or manholes and stuff. But then again, it's not what I'm looking for. I don't care if the ride's not the best, because it makes up for it in so many other areas, like performance. The handling is great. It keeps up. All right. It obviously doesn't handle as good as a Miata, but in some of the shots, I'm sure you saw, we had Rory's Miata as the camera car, the lead camera car, and we were
On a totally closed circuit.
In Mexico.
Mexico.
and yeah, this thing was like keeping up, like, albeit Rory's a better driver than me, but
2 points.
but I was able to keep up. I chopped him on the straights.
I think if I was driving, probably would be interesting.
What I think of this car is that it is a compromise, but it's not compromised. So what I mean by that is it's a compromise. It's supposed to be fast, fun, but also reliable and usable every day. And when you get that, you usually just end up, you're half-assing 2 things instead of full-assing 1 thing. And so usually you end up with a car that's not that nice to drive every day, and it's not that fast. But maybe it's just me, and I'm sure as soon as I start driving faster cars, I won't think this car is very fast. And as soon as I drive more luxurious cars, I won't think it's more luxurious. It's that luxurious. Well, I don't think it's luxurious, but for what it is, it does everything well. It does nothing perfectly, I'm not gonna say that, but it does everything well.